What's up everybody, and thank you for joining me for another video. My name is Whack4863, but you can call me Whack. In this video, I'm going to take you through all the steps that you're going to need to take in order to complete the Sacred Hunt event, including showing you how to get this follower that's standing behind me. While you're out at night, you'll find werewolves will spawn around your area. Now, in my case, it's always just been one when I'm out at night. I haven't been able to trigger more than one. But you're going to want to dispatch them, and they're going to drop 3 to 4 of these gnarled fangs. They're also going to drop this hunter satchel. The hunter's satchel has a handful of different materials inside, one being this map that's going to lead you to the location of the main hub for this event. You can also just look up to the sky on either map, whether you're playing on the Isle of SIptah or the Exiled Lands, to see where that event hub is, because it is marked by that Tower of Light. You're likely to make a lot of trips to this location while you're playing through the event. There are a couple of NPCs here. The first is the Bloody Tongue of Jebelsog. You'll want to engage in the conversations with that NPC in order to learn a recipe to craft the champion lure. The other NPC is this trader, and he is going to have all of the items that you need to engage in this event. So starting right off, when you first engage with this, you'll need at least 11 of the fangs. So you're going to have to kill multiple enemies throughout multiple nights in order to stack up 11 fangs. You need 11 fangs because you have to buy the champion lure and you have to buy the war paint of Jebelsog. Now, if you die during any of these encounters, the war paint does disappear, so I recommend buying multiple war paints and keeping one in your inventory at all times while you're engaged in this event. Once you have enough of the gnarled fangs, go ahead and buy yourself a champion lure and the number of war paints that you can afford. There are 4 different mini bosses to fight, and I'm going to take you to those locations now. There isn't really an order in which you should do these, except for the last one that I'm going to show you, which you really don't need to do until you've done the other 3. The first location that I'm going to bring you is up here in the north. It is just south of the Temple of Frost. You want to look for this stack of stones. That is where you're going to place your champion lure. So we just stick that in our hotbar, select it, and then we build the lure on top of these stones. This is going to cause an enemy to materialize right in front of you. Now I am going to cloak so that I can show you how much hit points this guy actually has, if it'll actually let me do that. So all of these enemies have 1,039,290 hit points. Some of the prerequisites for fighting these guys is to strip down and take off all your armor and apply the war paint. Now obviously we're in a cold area right now, so it's not a bad idea to have some spicy food on you for this fight. Applying the war paint of Jebelsog will give you a buff, but only after you actually strip off all your armor. It will not give you a buff if you have armor on. Stripping off our armor is going to give us the challenger buff, and if we look in the stats page, it simply says charisma increased by 3. Now I have tried to boost my charisma on top of that using potions and foods, and it does not seem to affect the amount of damage that I'm doing. We'll give each other a little bit of space here, and then I'll uncloak, and we will engage in this fight. Now you can see currently I am just very cold, and I am not wearing any armor, and I have not used any of the spiced meats. This is a standard fight with a mammoth, so it's really not that difficult of a fight if you've fought the mammoths before. This is just a larger version. You can see I've already broken him. He's not sure what to do. He just wants to hang out with me. There we go. He's actually trying to attack. So I'm just going to come up and hit him one time if I can real quick here. You can see how much damage he did when he hit me. Not a whole lot. But there we go. We should have done right around 72,000 hit point damage with that swing. Now that is a heavy attack swing. Your results may vary, but you do an absolute ton of damage when you're naked with that buff. So don't worry about the fact that they have so many hit points. I'm going to go ahead and cloak again. I'm going to put my armor back on just for this. fight so that you can see how much less damage you do if you try to fight him with armor on. Let's see if we get that hit bar to show up. So you can see he has 996,599, and if I hit him again, it goes down to 996,162. So your damage is greatly reduced if you wear armor. So let's finish up this fight now that we're uncloaked. We will just go in and attack him. If we can actually get to his mesh. This one is probably one of the more difficult fights to engage with, just because he's up on the side of a mountain here, but just get into it. And so that you guys know, these guys all are susceptible to bleed and poison as well, so if you come up with a weapon that causes bleed or poison, it will work against them. I'm going to draw him back down to this flatter area because I feel like it'll just be easier to fight him down here than it is to fight him on that slope. I feel like they could have picked a flatter area for this fight, and that this particular spot is kind of janky with the amount of slopes that he can get on and how hard it is to hit his mesh. But there we go, we have him dead. Now, in his inventory, you are going to find a couple of things. You're going to find more of the gnarled fangs, so make sure you grab those. And then you are going to find the brand of the mammoth. Make sure you grab that. Additionally, he can be harvested for some standard resources and some non-standard resources. You can see we get demon blood, the standard hides, the elephant hide and the thick hide, tusks, bone, and then we also got some silverstone. The brand is very important for the next step in this process. The next location that you want to go to is right underneath the Black Galleon, and I'll take care of these crocodiles here, and then I'll show you exactly where we're at. So we are in I-7 on the map, right below the Black Galleon, and there is another set of stones that we need to interact with here. Now, every time you interact with these, you do need the champion lure, so you may have to go back and get that champion lure from the vendor. We're going to go ahead and place that there, and we should see the other boss materialize here somewhere. There he is, and this is going to be the Rhino boss. Standard fight, just like you were fighting a boss rhino or any other rhino. You want to try to stay out of his mesh as much as possible, but again, not doing a ton of damage to us even though we're naked, and we are doing a ton of damage to him. You can see we've wrecked him pretty quick just staying in the fight, and we want to take the loot that he has in his inventory, the gnarled fangs and the other brand. So this is the brand of the rhino. Again, harvest him up for pretty much the standard stuff with a slight variation on some of the drops you can get. Bone, thick hide, exotic flesh, rhino hide, horn, and demon blood. The last location that we're going to go to is in 07. It is right here on the peninsula next to Buccaneer Bay. And we have the same set of stones where we're going to place our champion lure. We're going to wait for the boss to materialize again and engage in this fight. Again, all of these bosses share the same amount of hit points, and none of them do a whole lot of damage in my opinion, so it should be pretty easy at level 60 to come up and fight all of these bosses. I also did not buff up for any of these fights, so you could essentially buff up with some more health potions, or maybe some stamina potions, or even something that boosts the amount of damage that you're doing. We now have all three brands. We have the brand of the mammoth, the brand of the rhino, and the brand of the panther. Again, harvest him up for basically the standard resources with a couple of variations. This guy in particular does drop the Shade Bloom, Goldstone, Alchemical Base, and the Glowing Essence. We also got Fangs and Feline Pelt, as well as the standard Demon Blood. Now that we have the three brands, we also need the Champion Lure. Return to the main hub and interact with the shrine so that you can actually build the Grand Champion Lure. We're going to go ahead and put all that stuff in there, and then we'll craft it. Once you have the Grand Champion Lure, talk to this guy again, and you're going to buy the Potion of the Hunt for 3 fangs. The Potion of the Hunt has a very short decay timer. You can see it expires in under a minute, so make sure you buy that as the last step in this process. You're then going to be teleported to a part of the Jebel Sog dungeon. Again, we have the stones where we need to place our Grand Champion lure. We're going to go ahead and place that there, and we should have the Werebear to fight. Now, of all the fights, this one is likely to be the most difficult one that you come across. He's got a full new move set, much like a gorilla. And he just will spin around and get you. So I want to show you guys how many different attacks he has. He keeps doing the same one here. Maybe if I hit him a bit, he'll switch up his attack style. There we go. We had a little bit different attack there. And you've seen 2 attacks in a row every time here, but he will do more than 2 attacks in a row. There's multiple times where he'll just go crazy and keep attacking over and over. So you want to make sure you are watching your stamina for when that happens. There we go. We got quite a few attacks right there. If you need to, just get away, heal, or don't heal, click the wrong button. There we go. And just 2 attacks that time as well. Now he's going to start doing the other attacks after he roars there. And he should kind of go a little bit berserk here. He also has some ground effect attacks, which might happen if he gets unbroken. Are you broken? He's broken. Alright, so we'll just finish him off. We will come back and fight him again when I show you how to get him as a follower. So once you're finished listening to what he says, go ahead and loot his corpse. You are going to get the most gnarled fangs from fighting this boss. Additionally, you definitely want to chop this guy up because he does drop a tablet of power every time you harvest his body. The other items that we received from him was a ton of demon blood, some goldstone, some silverstone, some brimstone, some bones, and some meat. That doesn't really matter. The real big thing that he drops is this tablet of power, which is going to give you an increase in your knowledge points. So right now I have 727 available. If I use that tablet of power and then I go back in and look, you can see we have 787 available, giving us a boost of 50 knowledge points. Once you've defeated him, you just head right back out of the dungeon. There is a short delay for each one of these enemies, so you can't just continue to farm him without going out and back in. Now, in order to get him as a follower, you need to learn how to make a different type of lure. And for that, you are going to need to set up a tavern, and this guy will show up. Zil the Wanderer. You're just going to have a conversation with him and learn the lure corruption. If you're enjoying this video so far, please show some attention to the like button below this video. Let's see if we can get this one to 1,000 likes. Once you learn the lure of corruption, you are going to want to come to the Al-Muraha location. The reason why is because there's another enemy that we want to fight in here. You need to make it through at least one door in this location. You can climb over the top here and make it down to this door. You are going to need to destroy this door when you're in here. I'm going to go ahead and God mode just to get these guys off of me because I really don't feel like fighting them. But however you decide to get in this door is completely up to you. Once you get inside, there is a cave and you are going to need to interact with these stones once again in order to fight this boss. We're going to place it there. We'll also heal up real quick just because I forget to do it. We'll ungod and uncloak, but I want to show you something before fighting him. So you can face him face to face, or you can actually bring him up and out here and have him fight some of these guys. These guys will also follow you down here and they will get killed by that guy. So you can actually use this to do some cheesing of this area. Let's go ahead and shed some light on what's going on right now, and you can see they are attacking him like crazy. He's not losing any hit points even though they're attacking him, but he is going to kill all those guys for you. So if you want to come down here and get a bunch of resources from killing them, you can do that way. We'll go ahead and cloak just to start this over. We'll take our armor off because that's what we're supposed to do. He's going to head up and fight something else, or he's trying to. I don't know if he can make it through this little door right here, so you may have to destroy the door and the wall right above it in order to get him out of there. But let's get into this fight. Let's make sure we're not godded. We are not. This guy has less hit points with only 844,562. And there we go. We finished him off. Now you'll notice that there's something different in his inventory. We open that up, we find Ancient Blood. This is important for making this Tainted Grand Champion lure. We'll also harvest him up and see what we get out of his inventory. From this guy, it's basically the standard stuff that you would get from killing any other were hyena. This is going to be hyena pelt and some fangs. Now, in order to make this tainted lure, you actually have to make the Malodorious Grand Champion lure, which is going to require a Grand Champion lure. So first, you have to have all of these brands once again, just like that, and you're going to have a champion lure. So we'll buy another one of those, and we'll stick all of this in there, and then we're going to craft the champion lure. Once that's crafted, we're going to place our blood in there along with that lure that crafts, and we're going to make the Malodorious Grand Champion lure. Go ahead and craft that. Once that's crafted, you can see it actually has a decay timer. If we take that into our inventory, we are not able to take it out of our inventory. It's much like an avatar token where it has to stay in your inventory. And it has to decay, so you have 24 hours before this decays. Once it decays, it turns into the Tainted Grand Champion lure. Once you have the Tainted Grand Champion lure, you can buy another potion, head back into that dungeon, and fight this boss again. We'll take the Tainted Champion lure and place that right there. This fight is more difficult than the last one because he has double the HP this time than he had the last time. So it is going to take you twice as long to defeat him. One of the issues that I have with this particular fight is that when you are knocked down, when you get up, you are unable to move unless you roll. That's something that happens in some of the dungeons from time to time, so keep that in mind when you get up. If you are unable to move or attack, you need to perform a roll or a double roll. So like right there, unable to move for a second, and that then causes me to get into trouble again. So performing that double roll is a good thing, and it changes the timing up a bit, but you should be okay as long as you keep doing that. We've made the halfway point there, so he should be more excited. There's a bunch of hits, buddy. Oh, and disappear. Okay, there he is behind us. And it looks like he's broken again, like he broke the last time. Not sure what's breaking him, but hopefully that's fixed by the time this comes to the live version of the game. While he's broken, it's a good time for me to tell you that you can take followers with you or other friends with you as well into these fights. I just chose to do it solo. And here we go, one more hit should do it. There we are, and he is finished. Now you can see he dropped a lot more gnarled fangs, as well as this corrupted savage horn. There's also different dialogue that goes on for defeating this version. We'll want to chop him up because again, we get a tablet of power and a bunch of other really good resources. Now, once you're finished with that fight, you're going to see you have the corrupted savage horn, again with a 24-hour decay timer. You have to wait for this to decay in order to be able to place your pet. This horn will decay into this horn, Gura the Hunter. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but you can then put that in your hotbar and place your new pet. Currently, I don't believe these guys are fully implemented, as they have no strength, agility, vitality, or grit % chance growth. So I have a feeling this is still in the works and should be implemented by the time this gets to the live version of the game. If you're having trouble interacting with this particular follower, you do need to look right at his crotch in order to get that interaction spot. Keep in mind that this event is only happening during the Age of War Chapter 4, and so you only have that window of opportunity to get your hands on this follower. So you may want to stock up on those horns during this event. Additionally, there are other items that you can purchase from the vendor, like the regalia, the claws, the hammer, the throne, spike trap, the basin, the statue, the brazier, the different mushrooms that you can place, both red and green, the different wall paints that are available, and then the emblem icon for Jebelsog, as well as a were hyena hunter, which is an actual follower as well. I'll cover all of those things in a future video. For now, I just wanted to show you how to go through this event and why you would want to continue grinding those gnarl fangs. Don't forget to whack the like button on the way out and let me know in the comment section below, what do you think of this new event? I'd like to thank all my YouTube members for your continued support. Y'all are absolute legends. If you want to see what else is in the 4th chapter update to the Age of War, click the video that's on the screen right now.